Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about how a FactoryTalk Site Edition application works, right? So we're going to talk about how the FactoryTalk server, the HMI server, and the clients work together, and the topology of the way they work together. So who is actually active, the directories, and everything like that. We're going to actually go through that, and we're actually going to show a live system. As far as this goes too, I have a live system working right here with FactoryTalk Site Edition. Again, it could be network distributed or it could be a site, as long as it's Site Edition, again, when it comes down to it, right? So we have our whole system right here, and we're going to talk about how the, and just keep in mind too, when we're talking about a Site Edition application, we're going to be talking about going through FactoryTalk Links or RS Links Enterprise. For those that are using the older versions of FactoryTalk Site Edition, we're like I believe it's 9 or below, then you're going to be using RS Links Enterprise instead of FactoryTalk Links. Now I am going to be using 10 and above, so we're going to be talking about FactoryTalk Links. From here on out, they will be using FactoryTalk Links for the communications path, and that was where you will be using and doing your setup for your device shortcuts, meaning the names that you give your devices and where you point the actual device to. So we point our shortcut, which is our device shortcut, we point that to the actual PLC processor to pull the tags. That's where we're pulling the tags from the actual device, right? And that's where, again, we make each one. Like I'm showing you, I have 2 different examples right here, which is showing you 2 different setups, right? Which is showing you one pointed to one processor, PLC processor, and the other one pointed to another PLC processor. And this is running the client all of itself, right? So let's jump back over to OneNote and understand the topology behind this. Okay, so I briefly have this drawn out real quick, and I want to actually talk about this a little bit. So we have the HMI server up here, right? So when we think about this, I'm going to grab my pen. All right, so we have the HMI server right here, right? So this is the HMI server, and the HMI server is going to have the sole FactoryTalk directory. Now, it's going to be the only active FactoryTalk directory in the whole application system, meaning right here, this is a valid statement. Okay, so this is the only FactoryTalk directory system that is active, right? So meaning it's going to be doing all the PLC connections, it's going to be doing all the security for the application, the HMI application, it's going to be doing all the user setups, it's going to be doing all of the background stuff that generally we don't have to deal, you don't have to deal with unless you're setting up the application. Now keep in mind this note right here that we talked about, all right, this note. This is the HMI server, is the systems. When I say system, I mean the HMI system. It's the system's FactoryTalk view directory. Okay, the key note here, that's the directory. All right, so all PLC connections are tied through the HMI server in the location in which they're done for the HMI shortcuts, right? So the HMI shortcuts we just talked about through RS Links Enterprise for the older versions, right? RS Links Enterprise for the older versions, and FactoryTalk Links moving forward in the newer versions. Okay, so FactoryTalk 10 and FactoryTalk 12. All right, so again, now we need to talk about our clients, right? When we're talking about our clients, we're going to talk about the HMI clients like down here, right here, right here, and right here. Okay, so each one of these actual FactoryTalk clients can be a computer, right? There can be a regular computer that we're actually talking about, or it could be a computer set up through Thin Manager, or again, it does have the Rockwell software involved in it, right? So it has the Rockwell software installed on that specific client. Now, each one of these HMI clients, and I say that in this note right here, each one of these HMI clients has its own FactoryTalk directory. Okay, so they do have their own FactoryTalk directory, but we're not going to be using those. Those are not going to be active. Okay, so those won't be, what we're going to do is we're going to use a special tool, and that special tool is the specify right here, the specify FactoryTalk view directory tool. Okay, and that's located in FactoryTalk tools. We're going to show you where that's located. All right, so we're going to actually specify the directory that we want each one of these clients to actually to go to. So in our case, in client 1 right here, we're going to specify it go to that directory right here. We're going to specify that go right here to the HMI server. And the second one on client 2, we're going to go over here and point it to the actual HMI server. So the directories for each one of these clients, and again for number 3, we're going to take it and point it to the HMI server. Okay, so what do I mean by that? When we talk about FactoryTalk view and we talk about the directories, we get kind of confused, right? So let's talk about this real quick. All right, so we have a tool, and if we come in here to our system, we have a tool, and I'll talk about this tool real quick. I'm going to go to my file location, and then I'm going to pop up my actual Rockwell software. Okay, in the Rockwell software, we have a section called FactoryTalk tools. Okay, not to be confused with the FactoryTalk view tools, right? Not right here. This is application level. Okay, we want to talk about more specific. We want to talk about the actual computer level administration type stuff. This is the FactoryTalk tools right here. Now we're going to use this specify FactoryTalk directory location. Now we're going to click on that, and that's when we would change our clients from our local host computer. Now I'm currently on my server, but if I were on a client, I would change this local connection right here. I would use this button, I would sign into the system, and then I would change that to the computer where I want to actually connect to. And then at that point in time, the client will be actually utilizing the server's actual connection, right? It'll be using the server's FactoryTalk directory. So a lot of times people get confused when that comes down to it. That's somewhat why I made this drawing right here, to help you better understand that, again, the HMI system right here, when you think about the HMI server, right? So we have the HMI server right here, right? We have that highlighted in yellow. We have our clients down here, right? We have each one of these clients down here. Okay, each one of these clients, the directory, the FTView directory, is going to be it's going to be pointed to use the directory on the HMI server. Okay, it's very, very simple. So in conjunction with all this being said, basically you have a whole system. Now with this said, this works completely different on the Machine Edition version. Let me talk about how the Machine Edition version works. So Machine Edition is just simply a panel view. So if you wanted to have a one-off system that just talked to a panel view plus, or different generations of panel views that they currently have right now, it will be one system. Now you can deploy that one application on multiple devices, but this is going to be one device, HMI device, that's independent. Okay, so it's basically meaning it's independent to itself. Can it have multiple versions of itself? Yes, but it's independently acting as itself. So each one of these would be working off its own directory, right? So each one of these would be not working in conjunction with another system. You couldn't have two HMI, you couldn't have two Machine Edition HMIs working together. Now you can have them talking globally back through the backplane, talking through a PLC processor, but when it comes down to it, that's completely different. That's not actually using the FactoryTalk directory specified, or the FactoryTalk directory itself, right? We're actually talking about the FactoryTalk directory and who utilizes that. So the topology of the system is the HMI server and then the clients, the way the HMI clients are working, right? Now we talked about, and if you've seen any of my videos before, making an HMI client, you've actually seen how to make an HMI client. Now I can show you again how to actually make that client. You merely just come over here and open this up. You create the client and you create that right there. Now if you want to reference that, you can see those videos that I've made that on to make everything short and sweet. But I really just wanted to talk about the topology, how to make everything work. Again, show you a real life working system, and again talk about the topology on a kind of a different level, because again, a lot of people don't have the understanding. There's the HMI server does all of the PLC connections. Okay, the clients are all pointed to the HMI server, so they can be shut down at any given time because the HMI server is collecting all the data. Okay, so and they can be restarted, and each one of these clients could be restarted at any given time and not lose anything, and not lose anything what is controlled, because the actual data collection system is the HMI server, because we are utilizing the FactoryTalk directory for the whole system on the HMI server. So hopefully that adds some clarity to the way the topology works on the actual FactoryTalk Site Edition version. Hopefully that added some help to understand the way things work and how they interact together. And again, with all that said, we'll see you guys on the next one.